This is not supposed to be this way. Never would I have imagined losing my home, let alone the entire neighborhood.
To watch this habitat be decimated in the way it was also hugely devastating.
My friend Mark, he said to me, "Margot, I'm so sorry. I'm the one who gives you that bad news. Palm is all down."
We don't have a grocery store. We don't have a dry cleaners. We don't have, we don't have any of those little things you take for granted.
It's been over a year since the Palisades and Eaton fires tore across Los Angeles and the Southern California area in 2025.
Since then, it's been a story of struggle, uncertainty, and adversity for many.
We welcome you to When the Smoke Settles. I'm Alexis Vivanco.
And I'm Victoria Perez. Our WUFT news crew has gone across the region to bring you stories of communities rebuilding after disaster.
The Pacific Palisades fire began in the Santa Monica Mountains and covered over 23,000 acres of damage. Meanwhile, the Eaton fire destroyed 14,000 acres, with both fires burning for 25 days straight.
We start near the coast. The Palisades fire changed everything for thousands of families in just a matter of hours. Flames on the hillsides were fueled by powerful Santa Ana winds. Those who lived through it can still remember the chaos clearly.
In the Pacific Palisades, neighborhoods once full of memories sit empty and scarred.
It's just so surreal because there's these bricks out front that kind of wound up to where the garden was.
Sarah Marty's life moments were captured here.
That's where we did all of our important family photos year after year. If something was happening, we would take pictures on those bricks.
Then the Palisades fire sparked in January 2025.
When the fire broke out that morning, I knew that it was different this time.
After the winds began and the fire spread, Marty didn't wait.
The news was full of warnings that the Santa Ana winds were going to be life-threateningly dangerous.
She packed a bag and evacuated her family.
When I left that day, I grabbed the crappiest clothes I possibly could have. I think I grabbed one extra set of clothes for everyone.
But even from a hotel room several miles away, the fire felt closer than ever. Through the news,
you see friends' houses on fire, you see buildings that you recognize on fire, and you're just waiting to see your neighborhood, your street.
And on her phone,
you see the fire just moving across the hillsides. My mom's sending me pictures of the fire, slowly getting closer to her, and she was a 10-minute drive away from where it started.
Pepperdine University's Dr. Stephen Davis studied these types of fires for decades. He says conditions in the months prior
hadn't been significant rain for 9 months.
Created the perfect firestorm.
It's a hot wind, it's a dry wind, it's a fast wind, and then you have dry fuel. And that's the worst condition to be in.
And when the fire ignited, the community became vulnerable, fast.
Those bricks were the only thing that were left, and the house, blew away with the wind. The wind just carried most of it away.
A story of loss repeated house by house along the streets of this community. Dr. Davis says invasive plants and humans are responsible for the increased frequency of these fires in the area.
These fires won't occur without an ignition source. The normal ignition source is lightning every 30 to 100 years. Now it's 7.8 years.
Now Marty and her family live temporarily in Santa Clarita.
I knew that it was different this time, but never would I have imagined losing my home, let alone the entire neighborhood.
Trying to recover
a nice view back here
and rebuild.
My personal homecoming is going to be the day that I'm sitting in my mom's wild, overgrown native garden, waving at my neighbors walking by,
In the Pacific Palisades, Victoria Perez.
The fires tore through thousands of acres of land in California. For residents, this means homes destroyed or made unlivable. In an effort to unite, some have gone above and beyond to create grassroots efforts, providing information, resources, and for their neighbors, a lifeline.
That's what wakes me up in the middle of the night. Like, this is not supposed to be this way. It's just not supposed to be this way.
Lifelong Pacific Palisades resident Lynn McIntyre thinks about the January 7th fires that changed everything.
I immediately started looking for a place to live. And everybody says, but your house is still fine. I go, we can't go back there.
Her home, one of the only houses on Iliff Street still standing.
Look at my house.
But not unscathed.
My smoke alarm went off when the windows broke. And it burned around the crawl space underneath my house.
She says she's been left with no sewer system, no basic utilities, and dangerous levels of arsenic and lead inside. Unlivable, according to McIntyre.
My lawyer won't come here anymore because he says every time he does, he breaks out in hives. I know for a fact I will go home tonight and I will be sick.
Her entire life is locked inside a house she's lived in for 12 years. She's still battling her insurance company to this day. The pace of progress around her neighborhood is slow.
It's just a question of when people are going to start building around me.
Despite the challenge, Lynn hasn't had to face it alone, because a few blocks down on La Cruz Drive,
So you are here until we leave?
Competition.
Yes. Okay.
a few neighbors have united to help Lynn and the whole community persist, persevere, and rebuild.
The Palisades Recovery Coalition is an organic creation. It came about not particularly on purpose, but it sort of grew out of a reaction to the fire.
Community leaders have banded together to help lead a long-term recovery effort, helping Lynn and others. A one-stop shop assists homeowners navigating red tape, while also luring growth back to the 37-square-mile disaster zone.
We've become a convening space. We've become something of a think tank. We've become a facilitator. We've become a connector.
The key? Community input. The Palisades Recovery Coalition regularly hosts roundtables to connect neighbors united around a tragedy.
We gotta go!
While imagining the future, the organization does everything from collecting data to establishing policy positions for the community-wide rebuild.
What does our governance, insurance, finance, all these things need to look like to actually rebuild the community and end up with a community that we want to live in, want our kids to live in.
Over the past year, small victories are adding up. The organization's traffic management and construction logistics plans have been adopted by the city of Los Angeles.
People have been thinking and talking about rebuilding now for a year. There are going to be people who come into the room who last year had nothing and today are close to getting their certificate of occupancy to move back into their homes.
This presence has made all the difference for more than 20,000 Pacific Palisades residents.
This organization put together all the tools that you could possibly need in one place, and I've met amazing people that have really helped me further my process.
People helping people, residents of a community working together. Recovery, at times frustratingly slow.
We don't have a grocery store. We don't have a dry cleaners. We don't have, we don't have any of those little things you take for granted.
An ongoing battle that neighbors like Lynn McIntyre,
I think this broke too, but I'm not sure,
and the entire Palisades Recovery Coalition are determined to win. In the Pacific Palisades, Alexis Vivanco.
Not all communities can rebuild at the same rate.
For some, the new normal may look like this, living out of a mobile home or even a tent, waiting for any sort of government assistance.
We spoke to some residents in Altadena neighborhoods about how the fire has erased their lives and memories in an instant.
Lori Davis never expected to live outdoors.
It's like camping 24/7,
But more than a year after the Eaton fire destroyed her home,
It's hard to see everything go.
she's learned to adapt.
The deck is actually a panel from the fence. We just laid it down.
Every corner of her place
It's a shed, basically. A 10 by 12 shed.
exposes the new reality many Altadena residents now live in.
It was basically all I could afford to do at that moment because we didn't have insurance.
She cooks meals on her portable stove and bathes outdoors.
Here I am in my bathtub. Outdoor bathtub, fabulous.
Davis built a makeshift home on her and her ex-husband's scorched lot. They still live just feet apart.
26 years now I've been on this property, but we raised our daughter here.
Davis's house is just one of more than 9,000 homes destroyed by the fire. entire blocks were reduced to ash.
The house that was lost was a childhood home that I was born in.
Recovery meant finding a way to stay for some. But for others like Leah Rogers, it also meant learning to live with what was lost.
We were in shock.
She was home when the fire came in January 2025.
When it was so black that it just seemed like all these scary movies, like a black fog just moving.
Rogers and her kids packed what they could and left. They thought it would all be okay.
We didn't really think anything of it because they've had plenty of fires, but they've always gone the opposite way or around the hills.
Her son would be the one to give her the devastating news.
He's in tears. I'm so sorry, Mom. You lost your childhood house. It's burnt to the ground. All your memories are gone.
The place holding generations of family history, now gone.
And I had gathered like different memories because I'm the youngest of 3 and both of my siblings are deceased, but they have kids. So there's nothing but family history and memory there.
For survivors like Rogers and Davis, the fire may be out.
You can definitely make it. I'm making it, you know. Maybe not in the capacity that I was before, but I feel good. I feel blessed. I do, because we're okay.
But the recovery process continues. In Altadena, Victoria Perez.
The Golden State is home to many natural wonders. After the fires left their mark, scientists raced to save many of these environmental landmarks in an effort to not only save the land, but the wildlife that occupy it. I visited one of the last coastal wetlands in Southern California that was able to be saved thanks to the efforts of those willing to fight for it. The Pacific Coast Highway cuts through a piece of California's environmental history. Topanga Lagoon and its connecting creek is one of the last coastal wetlands in Southern California. But in January 2025, this space was nearly wiped out by the Palisades fire.
From an ecological standpoint, to watch this habitat be decimated in the way it was also hugely devastating to us as staff.
The area, once reaching over 30 acres, was whittled down to just one. Worse, endangered fish species native to the area were threatened of being wiped out by the flames.
The Palisades fire burned the entire designated critical habitat for both southern steelhead trout and tidewater gobies in Topanga Creek.
As the fires raged around the Santa Monica Mountains on January 7th, biologists and conservationists raced to save Topanga.
I came into the creek around 4:30 a.m. is when we met that morning because we had to get out before 6 p.m. I think.
Members from the Resource Conservation District of the Santa Monica Mountains had to move quickly to extract the gobies from their habitat. The result?
We were able to remove 760 tidewater gobies out of Topanga Lagoon out of harm's way.
However, fires in the upper watershed of the lagoon meant the trout's relocation would require more manpower.
And we actually went into the creek with a huge swath of people from organizations all around California to save 270 of those fish.
In total, 270 of the trout's 400 known population in the creek were rescued. Fast forward more than a year. The RCD received a $500,000 grant in April from LA County to restore the lagoon. During habitat mapping of the area, scientists made an extraordinary discovery.
The habitat mapping that we're actually doing today has led to us finding about 40 or 50 survivors of the Palisades fire.
Daggett says the funding is a key piece to restoring the habitat back to its former glory.
That $500,000 was what fills the gap to us to complete the design, permitting, and ready to list for all the beach facilities and all the beach portion of the project.
A beloved part of the Santa Monica Mountains on its way to being restored, thanks to the efforts of those brave enough to fight for it. In the Topanga Lagoon wetlands, Alexis Vivanco.
For Californians, one question remains. What's next? Local permitting data shows that just 34 homes have been built in the Pacific Palisades and Altadena areas since the blazes. WUFT's Drew Bank spoke with one of these homeowners, providing a blueprint of hope for their neighbors.
Margot Stuber's neighbors know her by her bright red hair,
After the fire,
German accent,
this house is full of gadgets.
and colorful spirit.
You see these colors being reflected all over the house. They are my favorite colors.
But before her laughs, there was sadness, heartache, and loss.
My friend Mark, he said to me, Margot, I'm so sorry. I'm the one who gives you that bad news. Palm is all down.
Margot was one of the more than 6,000 homeowners who lost a home in the 2025 Eaton fire, which wiped out much of Altadena, a town east of Los Angeles.
Upon rows of private property, unfinished land, and unfinished homes, sometimes all it takes is one new spark, or in this case, a home, to bring a community back from disaster and give them hope for the future.
Sometimes I have to pinch myself that this is really my own house, for real.
It was her dream from the beginning, rebuild to heal.
For me, there was never a question about we're building or not or what.
Her West Palm Street property became the first in the community to be cleared, the first to break ground, and the first to complete construction. Now it's a centerpiece of the recovery.
It makes me feel happy when I see that my story, gives encouragement to other people.
Her decorative touches speak to her journey.
The feather is kind of symbolic for my entrance in my new life.
But also to make sure she's protected for the future.
There's nothing that burns here. And I was adamant that we wouldn't have any wood except for the wood on the floor. And so the roof is also a concrete slab. I have a concrete slab on the floor, and all the walls are concrete block.
While Margot's home offers hope to others, it ensures her future in a community she loves.
Altadena is the center of my life. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else but here in Altadena.
In Altadena, Drew Bank.
For many, the fires meant devastation in all forms, at home, in the community, and their way of life.
But a bright spot remains, a spirit of togetherness that pushes past disaster and into the future.
California Governor Gavin Newsom announced $30 million in a wildfire prevention fund for the upcoming season.
And Vicki, while money alone can't completely eliminate a state's heartache, a community can begin to rebuild and see a path forward as the smoke settles.
Thanks for joining us.
Altadena is the center of my life. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else but here in Altadena.
You can definitely make it. I'm making it, Maybe not in the capacity that I was before, but I feel good. I feel blessed.
Be people who come into the room who last year had nothing and today are close to getting their certificate of occupancy to move back into their homes.